Here we go. You're on, Bob.
All right. Hey, after a brief technical glitch, here we are live, only about a minute late. Welcome, everybody. My name is Bob Sager. I'm the founder of Spearpoint Solutions. I'm here with Chad Johnson, who will introduce himself in a second. We're really happy to bring you this training series on 2 out of the 3, what I think are essential skills to thriving in the 21st century. So, we're happy to have you with you, or excuse me, easy for me to say. Happy to be with you and have you with us. And Chad, why don't you take a minute and introduce yourself?
For anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Chad Johnson. My company is Best Life Ventures, and I have a training series called Make Prospecting Suck Less. And that's where I'm teaching sales professionals across the country to create limitless pipelines in under 90 days, because right now prospecting in sales is so hard, and I teach the fundamental skills in today's economy on how to reach your target audience in mass and how to build your pipeline with qualified buyers that never stops growing in less than 90 days.
You know, Chad, something I really love about what you do is I think it's the antithesis of what people stereotypically think of what a salesperson is and what a selling approach is. And so I'm excited to have you teach folks about your material. And for those of you who don't know, our company teaches organizations and individuals purposeful creative thinking, what I call the science and art of purposeful creative thinking. And we're going to talk about one of those methods that we teach today. So, Chad, do you want to go ahead and jump into that material?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So that would be your slide deck or mine?
That's mine, sir.
Yeah, sorry. Here we go. We're going to jump right in, and away we go.
All right. So one of the things that we decided was important to do as an approach was to really gamify the system. And several years ago, I invented a creative thinking game called What's the Big Idea, that you're seeing on your screen now in the deck there. And why is that important? Why is a gamified approach important? Hit the next slide, if you would, Chad. People have found out, multiple studies have shown that if something feels like work, there's a natural human tendency to shy away from it and want to do less of it. But if something feels like fun, people embrace it and they want to do more of it. So that's why we took the gamified approach. One of the basic foundational creative thinking methods that we teach is called combinatory play. Hit that next slide, if you would, Chad. You'll find out a little bit about that method today. But one of the things I do want to say is that it was both Da Vinci and Einstein's favorite creative thinking method. So if you can master this, I'm not saying you're going to be the next Da Vinci or Einstein, but if you can master this method, you're on your way to thinking more creatively. Hit that next slide, if you would, Chad. So let me give you some basics about how this works and sort of how human beings' mind works. People do not think in words, they think in pictures. So if I show you the word dog, you're not thinking of the image of a dog. Excuse me, you're not thinking of the image of the letters D, O, and G. You're thinking of the image of a dog, probably a dog you're familiar with. Next slide, Chad. If you see the word kitchen, the image of a kitchen pops into your mind. Now, the interesting thing about this is if we begin combining words and giving your mind a direction to work. In other words, what if I say, hey, let's combine kitchen and dog? Hit that next slide, Chad. If we combine dog and kitchen and say, come up with an idea for a new product, a new service, or a new business featuring those 2 words, combining those 2 words. That's where the combinatory play begins to open up 3rd possibilities in your mind, 4th possibilities. The same thing if we reverse the words, next slide, Chad, and say kitchen dog, all of a sudden new possibilities and different possibilities from dog kitchens start to pop up in your mind. So that's how combinatory play works. And one of the ways that we use that in the training that we do to open up people's mind to creative possibilities is we'll give them a list of words with the instruction to choose any 2 words from that list and combine them together to come up with an idea for a product, service, or business. Now, as we're going about the training, we delve into using this methodology to come up with practical ways to apply this method to improving processes and products and et cetera within the organization. But in order to get the juices flowing and open people's mind to the fact that they do have inborn creativity, they just probably haven't used it in a while, we use this to come up with, or to help them come up with ideas for products. And it's so powerful. I've trained thousands of people in this, and I've never had anyone not be able to come up with something. And so what I'd like to show you next is a video from a training class where we were actually training our facilitators. And so the gentlemen that you see on here are all certified facilitators with us. But in order to train them on the use of these methods, they had to learn to use them themselves. So this is the result. This video that we're about to show you is the result of one of those training exercises. And I think you'll see the power of what they come up with just using this simple methodology. So Chad, if you launch that video.
A little bit of technical. Hang on just a second. We're getting there.
All right, bear with us a second, guys.
You gotta love technology.
It's wonderful when it works.
It is. Hang on just a second. I think we are ready to go. Give me just a second. So this is our first live stream, folks. So, all right.
And by the way, while Chad's getting that online, let me add, you guys who are viewing this.
Here we go.
All right, so let's hear what we're going to do is we're going to hear from the competitor first, and then we're going to hear from the entrepreneur second. So, Dwight, why don't you give your pitch, your best pitch to Chad, and we'll go from there.
I went with the words tent and station. This would be called tent rental station, and it's a kiosk set up in a wherever, and it only has the pop-up tents that they now make where you basically push them up and twist the dial until they tighten. 10 by 10s, 15 by 15s, like I say, freestanding kiosk, or in retail stores like Lowe's, Office Depot, places like that are frequented by a lot of people that are thinking about that mindset of saving money. You could also have these for sale if people wanted them. The benefits are you don't have to engage a larger tent rental company, so that therefore allows the cost to be much lower to rent it and or buy it. You pick up and return it yourself, the customer does. So they make a deposit, but they get the deposit back, or you don't charge it if they bring the tent back on time, or if they don't bring it back, you hit them with a charge. It's convenient, inexpensive, saves money. And we're competing against the existing tent rental companies that do the larger tents, and the small tents are really a problem, not a income stream for them. So that's it.
All right, Mr. Entrepreneur Steve, let's hear the competitor product service thing.
All right. Chad, as a fellow Texan, you're aware that the heat in the summer and the cold in the winter is causing an amazing murder rate in our state. So I've combined plants in hospital because we're killing off the begonias, the roses, the petunias, and the shrubbery. So St. Rose's Plant Hospital has been born. What is a plant hospital, you ask? Excellent question. So for those of you who regularly kill plants or just aren't any good at it, it is a walk-in emergency clinic for any of your plant needs. You can come in and get advice. You can come in and get new soil. You can come in and get the roots massaged. If you want to leave it there on a long-term stay, we'll take care of the plants for you. You may be going on a vacation. You board your dogs. Why not board your plants? We'll take care of them as well. If you like plants and you just can't keep them alive, we'll keep them on a permanent basis. You can watch them on a live video feed, as well as get letters home from your plants on a weekly basis.
Oh my God.
If you want to be better at keeping your plants alive, despite the searing heat, we have classes for you. We have classes on planting. We have classes on mulching. We have on pruning, whatever you'd like to do. By the way, we don't want your generations to come to follow in your footsteps. We have children's classes as well. They can come in and be junior plant doctors, and they can get their education as well. They'll get a plant of their own to take care of at their own home, so they can take care of them as well. Obviously, sometimes I'm sad to say our patients don't make it, but that's okay. You're not that attached anyway. We have new plants you could buy at any point in time that you like, and we can do that for you as well. By the way, in these classes, we're happy to certify you in different areas and have a social group where you can give advice. And there's also volunteer opportunities because we do want to give back to the community. So we will bring plants to elderly and retirement homes and assisted livings, and our certified plant doctors and children will go out and spend time with the elderly to make sure their plants live and that their lives are happy.
Oh my gosh, that is absolutely hilarious.
So I never cease to be amazed that just with two simple words, like Steve was the second gentleman that went there, Steve Felson. He's a certified facilitator with our company, Spirit Point Solutions, and just with Plant Hospital, and just I forget the two words that Dwight had. It was tent stations, I think, the two words that he had. Just by combining those two words, though, that entire concept that both of them shared came out of combining those two words, and it's evidence really of something that we find always at the beginning when we're doing training. I ask people by a show of hands, how many of you consider yourselves to be creative? Just by a show of hands. Well, it's consistently 20% or fewer. But by the end of our first training session together, those folks have changed their mind. And I frankly have had people come up to me and tell me, hey, you know what, Bob? I'm a little sharper than I thought I was. I'm a little better than I've been giving myself credit for. And you can just tell it's really changing their opinion of what's possible for them in the world, even beyond just the creative thinking. It really just is a self-esteem and confidence builder. And I love it. I'm so passionate about the work. And so we're going to be, as we get into more of these sessions, we'll be training on some other methods that we use to train. But just this simple combinatory play method, you guys can have a lot of fun with. And really, you've got to embrace these skills that you need in the age of artificial intelligence. And so without further ado, let's go into Chad in training a bit on the second of the three skills that I think are essential. And that is what I call 21st century selling skills. So Chad, take it away.
Thanks, Bob. So I can tell you, being a certified trainer for Purposeful Creative Thinking, a part of which Bob just showed in the video that we had, and you may have heard my name even in it, because that was through our training series, is the fact that, the one thing I realized going through that process was I had some predisposed barriers in my mind when I would think about creating ideas. And so it really helps get rid of those barriers. You basically get to, by using different words or using different techniques, you actually get to trick your mind into letting go of those barriers for just a minute, make it go, what's going on here? And you open up all this possibility. Your mind goes, okay, well, let's start searching for ideas because I don't have any parameters. So let's just go with whatever we can. And that's the whole point, to get your mind to get rid of those preset parameters and put those biases in your mind aside. And just let your brain flow. So that's also part of what I use when I teach selling in the 21st century. I think we all know that prospecting has really changed. And I'll tell you, over 20 years as a sales leader in corporate America, from a frontline manager to a VP of sales, the one thing I've always heard from salespeople is prospecting sucks. And it does. Cold calling is hard. Keeping up with emails and getting conversations going with prospects has always been difficult over the past 20 years. And now more than ever, it's a lot harder. People aren't answering the phone like they used to. They definitely aren't responding to emails like they used to. And over 50% of the salespeople that I talk to, the sales professionals that I talk to these days, they tell me that they are not finding enough qualified prospects to meet their goals. And that's a real problem. But the problem stems from how we're going about prospecting. We're doing the traditional things we've always done, and we're getting fewer and fewer and fewer results. So we increase the number of the things we're doing, and you still continue to get fewer and fewer results. It's because you're not going to go out and find an interested buyer anymore in today's day and age, because they're just like you. They're a consumer, whether it's for their business or for personal. When they get interested, what's the first thing they do? They go online, they go on the internet, they go researching on their own. They satiate that interest. They go out and take care of it on their own, learn a lot before they ever want to talk to anybody. Nobody's sitting around going, I hope a salesperson calls me, or I better reach out to this company and get this information from a salesperson, because they don't have to. It's at their fingertips. So it's really important today's day and age to meet your customers where they are, which is online. And that's how I came up with the creating a limitless pipeline in under 90 days. So I like to talk about it in ways that are a little more fun. I like to have a lot of fun. And so I'm going to go ahead real quick here. I'm going to pull up something for us all to look at. Who likes gambling? I do. I like going to casino. It's thrilling. Maybe your game is blackjack. Maybe you like roulette. Roulette's fun. Maybe you like craps. Throwing the dice, the yelling and the screaming. Who hasn't heard that screaming in a casino when somebody is on a hot streak, on a crap table? You can hear them for, miles, it seems like. Or maybe you like slot machines. You just like quiet, peaceful. I'm going to sit down, play my game, hit the button, and go. No matter what, the one thing that all these have in common is gambling is always a one-to-one action, meaning you place one bet and you have one opportunity and you win or you lose. One hand of blackjack, one roll of the dice, one spin of the reels on a slot machine, one spin of the wheel on roulette for that number to drop. It's a one-to-one action. That's the hard part to accept about that, is that every single time you do that single action, you place that bet, the odds reset. There's no progression towards I'm getting better odds by the more times I do it. And that's what we're running into today with prospecting. The traditional prospecting methods are the same as gambling. Cold calls are a one-to-one action. You make a call, you're looking to get in contact with one person, and you have about a 1% opportunity to convert them into a lead, to make them maybe a potential opportunity in your pipeline. And I want to ask you something real quick. When you're thinking about trying to find a solution for something, do you look for the solution that has a 1% opportunity of success? Or do you look for one that has a greater opportunity of success? I hope it's the greater. I personally don't like the 1% chance when I need a solution. Emails are the same way. They're a one-to-one opportunity. Yeah, you may send out hundreds of emails at a time, but each individual email, one action, is one opportunity to one individual. And your odds are a little better with email than cold calling, at about 2.5% chance of converting them into a lead, into an opportunity, possibly into your pipeline. Again, not really great, because you got to think about it. Not everybody answers the phone anymore. And those 1% conversions are only when someone answers the phone. So it's really not 100 calls. It could be several hundred calls to actually reach 100 people to have that 1% chance. Same thing with emails. Right now, across all industries, the open rate of sales emails is about 20%. That means 1 in 5. If you send out 500 emails, you have a 7% reply. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you glitched for a minute, Chad.
I did. You got to love it. Bandwidth is an amazing thing. So same thing with emails right now. You may send out 500 emails, to have 100 people open them, and you get about a 7% reply rate. So think about how many of those 7 people, you multiply that out, the odds are staggering as to how many hundreds or even thousands of emails you have to send out to get that 2.5% conversion. And the problem is, since they're one-to-one actions, you automatically reset the odds every time you do them. It's exhausting. And it doesn't need to be that way. And they're not providing the results they used to. Since your customers are online, since they are going to the internet, since they are looking for solutions on their own and learning on their own, meet them where they are. In B2B sales right now, where people are, for B2B clients, they are on LinkedIn. And I got to find my mouse here. And this provides us a unique opportunity. The one thing that our traditional prospecting methods didn't have was scale. And scale is the most important thing you can have. One cold call to one person, one cold email to one person. But you can place one post on LinkedIn, which, by the way, 75% of B2B buyers use LinkedIn to do research when they're looking to buy products or learn more about products and the people who sell them. 50% of all B2B buyers use LinkedIn as their primary and most trusted source. So you can put one post or one video on LinkedIn that will stay there for forever, that never goes away, and it can reach hundreds or even thousands of your potential buyers with one action. That's scale. And that is the human touch in sales, where we can still defeat AI. AI can automate everything. It can scale how many emails go out. It can dial the phone for us. It can put our notes in the CRM. It can do all those great things, but those are all still one-to-one actions. We can use our ability as humans to think and to rationalize and to change up the way we create our messages and how we put them out there into the universe to be seen by using LinkedIn and using posts and videos and things like that. And we can reach a massive number of people with one message. You can literally, with one post or one video, reach more potential buyers than you could call on or email in a month's time. You can start making those odds work for you. And the best thing about it is since they were researching online when they came across your message, you got a more qualified potential buyer. You've got a higher odd of creating that into an opportunity that goes into your pipeline, and it continues to grow and grow and grow each day, every time you post, every time you put a video out there, every message that you create goes out there for more and more and more people to be seen. The great thing about it is you get to grow your network, and your network is where you'll find your best referrals. So as you're growing and selling more potential buyers and customers and building a pipeline, you're also getting more satisfied customers that you've closed that are sending you referrals through the network on LinkedIn where you met to begin with. It becomes this really awesome cycle where not only are you finding much more easily qualified buyers and building your opportunity pipeline, once you've converted them to customers, it's so easy for them to give you referrals and introductions. Basically, you create your own inbound marketing machine as a sales representative. And you won't rely on cold outreach anymore, because you'll have this continual pipeline of warm people who have already engaged with you, had conversations with you virtually, and then in the real world via phone, video contact, all of that, video conferencing. And you no longer will be dependent on cold outbound, and you'll be reaching your customers at scale. That's what I teach. I teach people how to scale their efforts, make their messages one to hundreds instead of one to one, and create perpetual growth, high qualified, well positioned opportunities into their pipeline. And I can teach anyone to do this in under 90 days. You take the steps, I can have you there. And that's pretty much what I do. If you have any questions about that, you can DM me on LinkedIn, or you can send me an email. Just say Limitless Pipeline. Send me an email to info@makeprospectingsuckless.com, and that's how you can do it. And all of this does go through SpearPoint. So I work with Bob, and Bob would also be a great place to put it. And I believe he's going to have an email for you here in the not too distant future.
Yeah. So Chad, that's, do you mind if I interject something? It
Sure.
would seem to me, and I could be wrong about this, but I don't think I am, that by sharing those posts on LinkedIn, one of the big advantages of that is, SEO picks up on things like that, right? And so if I'm searching for whatever I'm searching for, for my company, and I can tell you as a decision maker, I get friggin' bombarded with emails. I mean, it's ridiculous. And most of them I don't even see because they go directly to my spam folder. So that is, I know some people love email marketing, but as a decision maker, that is a very inefficient way to reach me. So, and I would think that as I'm online searching for whatever for my company, by posting about those sorts of things, they would probably show up potentially on the front page of Google. So,
Yeah.
So am I totally off base on that?
No, you're absolutely right. And especially when it comes to things like newsletters, like the newsletter that I write, that's bi-weekly, it comes out every other Wednesday. Several of my articles rank in the top 10 organic search results on Google. I think more than half of mine do. And it's because, I discuss the relevant topics, and then the algorithm on Google, which has a relationship with LinkedIn, kicks in, and you bet, absolutely. And that makes you that much easier to be found. So all those come into play. And, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chad.
I have people that, ask me all the time, does it really work? And I like to give two answers. One, I can show you, I can give you the stats, I can share success stories of customers, but I can also tell you just personally, it's how I became a LinkedIn top voice. It's how I was able to build the following and build the network that I have on LinkedIn, and how I run my business. I don't teach anything that I don't actually do and that isn't actually being successful. I know, I have a large client. I'm working with everything from small individual owners of smaller businesses all the way up to, Fortune 500 global companies that are the number one in their seat. I'm working right now with one of the largest insurance companies in the world. They're based out of Europe, as a matter of fact. And so it reaches at scale decision makers at every walk of business, because they all have the same need. They all need to learn new things. They all need to grow their business. They all need to learn how to sell their products more effectively. And that's where I come in, and that's where I can really help businesses and salespeople shine.
That's fabulous. And those are the sorts of skills that people are going to have. And by the way, let me back up a step. I think even if you are not quote unquote in sales, I think you still need to learn 21st century selling skills. I just think it's something that you are going to have to be equipped with, because everybody's got to sell somebody on something, right? And so if you don't have those, I think you're going to be behind. Same thing with purposeful creative thinking. And so as we close here, we're almost at the half-hour mark. If you would like a little bit more information on how to utilize combinatory play and an explanation of that, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm easy to find there. So, and I do want to say before we wrap here that our sponsor for this episode is the SpearPoint Solutions Brand Ambassador Program. And so the cool thing about the Brand Ambassador Program is you can earn commissions by referring customers. But I think the best thing about it probably is once a customer is your customer that you've referred to us, and they buy anything from us, anything else that they buy from us for life, you get paid on. It doesn't cost them anymore, but you get paid on. And so in today's world where people are wanting and needing opportunities, it's a fantastic opportunity, not for everybody. And frankly, we won't allow everybody to qualify as a brand ambassador. But if you want more information about combinatory play, about creative thinking in general, or about our brand ambassador program, reach out to me on LinkedIn, or you can email Bob at spearpointonline.com. So with that, Chad, do you have any final parting comments here?
Happy selling, everybody, and have a great day and rest of your week. We look forward to seeing you again next week with more information and more topics.
Yes, next Wednesday at noon Eastern, we'll be here. We're not buying your lunch, but you can treat it as a lunch and learn. So Wednesday the 13th, and I'm working on having a special guest with us. So hopefully we'll have an announcement on that soon. Appreciate you joining us, everybody, and have a fantastic rest of your week.
Bye, everybody. Take care.